Welcome to our course, Become an Effective Digital Missionary. My name is Stephen Tijamolia, and this is an introductory lesson giving you an overview of everything we're going to be covering in our course over the next 7 sessions. And a little background on myself. I'm not a expert or scholar on the scriptures. I am not a leader of any congregation. I am a man who has a lot of flaws, but one thing I do love is my Savior Jesus Christ, and I feel like I have a talent for missionary work, but most importantly, I have a desire to serve. And if there was someone I could be like, I would want to be like John the Beloved, who when Christ asked, what would you like? His view was, I'd like to stay on earth and share the gospel with people. And, he was able to do that. And that would be my greatest desire. Now, what I've done is my background is in business and technology. And I have built a company called Sales Innovator. And throughout my many years, I have been able to work with some of the major companies on their social media and social sales strategy. So I've helped companies like Dell, Carnival Cruise Lines, Verizon with their global sales initiatives on how to use digital to help their company better sell. And in this journey I've been able to achieves 13 patents on social selling. So a lot of what is considered and being used for social selling, I have a patent on. And I have also built 12 training courses on social selling that we provide through Sales Innovator. Now, what I've done is I created a missionary, digital missionary center in Rexburg, Idaho, about a couple of years ago. And I had 75 students, and we researched the best practices that we could learn from on digital missionary work. And every Sunday from 6 to 8 o'clock, we'd meet and we'd practice them. We studied them during the week. We studied what personas are more likely to accept the gospel. We participated in many Christian communities, and we even started our own called Follow Jesus Christ, which grew in a year to about 350,000 people, and has been growing 10,000 people a week, and has people all over the world. So from that training, from those best practices and from that center, and then leveraging all the training and the knowledge we have from helping businesses succeed, we prayerfully put together this course on how to share the gospel. And we created 3 courses. This is the first one that we'll be releasing. And it gives you the foundational principles of how to do missionary work. Now, I come from a business strategy background. So, and I've created courses like this one for the business world. So sometimes in this course, you may hear me say words that are business oriented or seem like I am focused on a target audience. Well, I apologize for that if it doesn't come out sincere or lovingly and caringly. I don't mean to do so. Now, one thing is when you are dealing with digital, which is a little different than dealing face-to-face, because with face-to-face, you're knocking on the door, you're talking to one person and you're working with them. In digital, you can actually teach millions of people online, and you can make a post and there's like 100 people that respond. So that makes it really hard for you to decide, and you have limited time, who to talk to. So that the game is a little differently played. There's a business jargon again, but online than it is in person. But as you start building relationships with people online, it becomes more of a one-to-one. And then the principles are similar that apply that you're used to talking to your friends and building relationships with them. So I apologize in advance if it seems like I'm using a lot of business jargon and best practices. But what I've tried to do is pull those in prayerfully and helping you and tying them with best practices we've used to help you become a better digital missionary. So with that, we'll get started. Digital missionary work is changing in a big way, and here's why. When social media started picking up, people were spending more time. Before that, they were spending their time on TV, they were socializing and reading, and they were using computers. As social media became really big and 1.6 billion people started using it actively, people started shifting their time to social media. So it's almost as much as TV. So what this means is in their leisure time, right, when they get back to home from work, how much time do they spend on different activities? As you'll notice now, people only spend 10% of their time, 10 minutes a day reading. It's only 3%. And where we thought they spent a lot of time surfing the internet, they do less of that. It's only 24. And socializing, it's only about 38 minutes that they socialize. So the biggest percent is either watching something, or I'm participating in some conversation on social media, or watching someone else's, or looking at someone else's post. So where is the action happening if you're doing digital missionary work? It's on social media. That's where you're going to capture their attention. And with COVID that's going on now, social media use increased by 75%. So instead of finding more time to talk to each other, they're finding more time to talk to each other via social media and stay connected that way. Facebook and YouTube are the dominant platforms by far. 69% of adults in the US use social media multiple times a day. So if you had to pick one platform to start, it's going to be Facebook. And if you look at the world, it'll cross Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Facebook is by far the dominant platform. So it's worldwide. And the cool thing with Facebook is you could be looking at the content in your native language, say it's Portuguese or Filipino, and I could be looking at it in English, and we'd see the same content translated in our own language, except for the pictures and videos. But I thought that was really cool. So that makes the platform language neutral in a way. Now, most popular platforms that people use often, Facebook and YouTube still dominate, but WhatsApp and WeChat and different ones are known in different parts of the world. But if you really want to, stay with one, it's Facebook, and you'll have good traction there. Now, as we were researching this, what interesting stat we found is that if you're a Christian, Christians will most likely, 80% of them will most likely consume spiritual content through social media each day. So they spend their time on social media, 138 minutes. They're going to consume it that way. And 66% are more curious about God. So their odds of reading spiritual content that's put out there is pretty high. And that becomes a really big channel for you to share the gospel with people all over the world. The other interesting statistic, because as I was a missionary and I grew up, I wondered how many people are really interested. Doesn't everybody have a church? Doesn't everybody already follow Christ? Well, there's over a billion Christians out there, but 50% of them are interested in, are open to switching churches and are looking. So this number was a recent study by Pew, and I thought that was very interesting because they're looking, they're interested, and all you have to do is start reaching out. But understanding how to reach out is what we're going to cover throughout this whole course, which will help you become a better digital missionary. Now that 50% is in the United States, and I'm sure it's equal in greatness around the world. It's about 125 million people currently are looking and interested in switching churches. Pew even defined that better to say 23.5 million are actively looking. So when you're saying, oh my goodness, there are not that many people, I can't find them, you as a missionary just don't know how to unlock their need. And that became important to me because until this point, I didn't realize that it was kind of my fault because I didn't know how to unlock it. It wasn't their fault. I just need to know how to get to them. And if you see the number of people switching, that's about 12.7 million that are switching because they don't have they're non-denominational. 3.5 are coming out of Protestants, 4.4 out of Catholics, 2.5 million out of mainline Protestants, and then you have the other denominations. And this percentage equates the percent of their entire congregation that is looking to potentially switch. So it's a significant amount of people. So if you're saying there's not a lot of people out there, there are a lot of people that are looking. Now, where are they switching to? This was even astonishing to me, because where are they switching to? They're switching to no religion. They believe in God, but they have no religion. So what we're facing is people are having a crisis in their faith, and they don't know where to turn to. So what better time and what most needed time do we have in this world to become digital missionaries? Because that is where the action is. It's on social media. That's where they're spending their time, and they are looking for a religion, and they cannot find it. So the number is huge. So who do I focus on in that set of 50% of all Americans are looking? Well, Pew also educated us with this chart, and I simplified it here. But what this shows is that if people are highly participating in religion, which is 42% of Americans right now, and they attend church, which is 33%, they pray often, 78%, they read their scriptures, 43%, and they have a good religious education, 42%. And then the top arrow says they have strong family connections and social connections in their church. So if you have that, you are doing a great job, you're following Christ, and you're not going to be interested to switch. You're going to be doing, I'll be nice, I'll have a conversation with you, but, I am on my path. I feel like I am set. So that becomes, that 50%. Now, the green part are those people that have the greatest potential switching. And if you start at top arrow and work backwards, they don't have a religious affiliation. They don't have religious connections. They're not saying their prayers. They're not reading their scriptures, and there's different degrees of this. They don't have a strong religious education going on. They don't attend church, and a small percentage of them don't have religious connection, but most of them say they have religious connection. But another important ingredient is they have desire to follow Christ. So if they have a desire to follow Christ, and they're not doing some of the basic elements, and they're not going to church, and they don't have a lot of social connections, that's your green segment. If you can identify those, then your odds of being able to help them follow Christ is a lot higher. Now, this is a generic way of looking at who can potentially you could teach online. Another way to do this, and we're going to break it up into the next section, which is persona-based. So with personas, you create a fake person, and you use data to do this, and you do research. And these fake people guide you through how to present your message. This is how, who you're talking to. It helps you prayerfully seek the Lord's advice on how to help this person, and then you could target your whole efforts around this. And if you could do this instead of just generically targeting people on social media or on digital, you're going to have a 6x improvement on what you're doing. So it helps out a lot in your digital missionary work. So we created 6 personas that will help you. One of them is Carla Brown. She represents 83% of those looking to switch. She is seeking spiritual growth. She reads her scriptures. She prays. She's having a good religious education. She's trying to live a model life, following Christ, but she just doesn't get along with her pastor, or maybe her pastor is outdated, or maybe she is, he's not teaching her as much as she'd like to. And so she's looking for a congregation who can push her to learn more. So that becomes a big percent of switchers. Another percent of people switching, these make it more tangible, is Sarah Moore. She may be recently divorced, going through a breakup, lost her job. And these personas, I've used different nationalities and sexes for each one of them, and not to be biased anyway, but you have to pick something to tangibly connect. So it could be a man as well, but right now I just use a woman. because it gives you a reality of who this person could be. But she's in desperate need. She may only have $50 in the bank, and she's looking for a lot of support and help, and may not get that from her family. So that is people in need, and that's 55% of switchers. Tom Long, it represents 50% of switchers, and he's trying to quit a bad habit through an addiction. It could be pornography, it could be drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and I know they're all drugs, but he represents 50% of switchers. He wants a program where Jesus can heal him, and he wants this now because he really wants to quit it. He's had enough, and he's tried different things but can't do it, so he comes to Christ. Another persona is John Smith, and he's lonely, feels unappreciative, or he feels lonely and needs support. He represents 43% of switchers, so he may still go to a congregation, but they are nuts. He just doesn't. People just don't connect with him. He just feels like people don't understand him. So he represents 43% of switchers. Jane Lee is someone that is active. She wants to volunteer and help out, but her church just doesn't use her talents. So she feels undervalued, and she's looking for a church that can help her. And that represents 42% of switchers. And then Lisa Morelli, a lot of us think that, she's the one that we're going to baptize people and meet people because they don't agree with their current religion. Well, it comes to find out that's only 11% of switchers, which disagree with what's being taught. So it's a lot smaller percentage, but there are some of those. And what we're going to dive into is reasons why she disagrees, and that's going to make a big difference to know if she wants to switch or not. But those are 6 personas that if you target, you're going to be a lot more successful in your missionary work, and we're going to also teach you how to create new ones in the next section. We're going to go through, and this whole course is how to teach the gospel effectively. So this is some behaviors. 43% of people want you to engage and ask comments and make questions and respond to their questions. So that's by far the number one thing they want you to do on social media to talk to them. The other one is they want relevant content where they can learning content, not just like very superficial content, but they want to learn. They want videos and pictures. They want you to, meet new people. They want to expand their network with you. And then they want you to be able to be yourself, show personality and interests, connect emotionally. But what you'll find out is answering their questions, talking to them in posts by far is a dominant way to share the gospel online. How many people are asking questions and want response via comments? 41 million people are looking for that right now, according to research. So there's tons of engagement to do. Like there is, if I were to say, if you're a missionary right now in a specific neighborhood and I say there's 41 million people wanting to talk to you, you would probably just be like, oh my goodness, that's so many. But they're there, they're waiting, they're ready. You just have to have a conversation, but know how to unlock that, right? Know what they're looking for and what would get their interest. 16 million of those people want to meet a member. They want to talk to someone from that denomination. 12.9 want to talk to a minister before joining. And then 6.3 really need help. Out of those, those 23 million that are actively looking right now, 6.3 need help. They're like, hey, handhold me through the process. Those are the ones you need to find and reach out and help out. We're going to go through the gospel progression funnel, how you can write content, engage, build relationships, and then get them to come to church or some other local activity. We're going to break that down for you in detail, and we're going to give you these in-depth steps on how you could do each one of these phases of missionary work online and leading people closer to Christ. So I call it like helping people come closer to Christ through these activities and all along the path. And then we're also going to be teaching you how to expand your circle of friends. Usually people have 3 to 5 friends, and then 3 to 5 close ones. And then we'd say about, 10 good ones and 12 that they meet every so often, and a total 155. So those are the people you can minister to and you're used to ministering to. and sharing the gospel with, but that you can run out that pool pretty quick. So what we're going to teach you is how to expand it into neighborhood and social groups as well as Christian groups online. And this is where you will be teaching people all over the world and helping them come closer to Christ. What we suggest is start with your friends and then meet your neighbors online and then go to your local community and then go to global groups. We're going to go through and how to share your gospel into each one of these and what works and what doesn't work. We're also going to tell you about the how to use different strategies. For example, Facebook algorithm determines, it's a mathematical equation Facebook has. The computer determines how many posts show up to people. So when you post your profile, on average, only 25 people see it. Facebook tries not to make it a lot of spam. Now, if people like and comment, they expand that to show it to more people because it's something hot and maybe it's going to go viral. But on average, you'll get 25. If you create pages and invite people to see your pages, only 2% on average will see that, all your content. And Facebook does that because they want you to buy ads to send traffic to your pages. And by buying ads, you'll be able to get 27% of those people you're trying to target to see your content. And then the last one, and so that's what we call your paid strategy, is pages and ads. We call the last one organic, is where if you can join groups and post in groups, you'll get 34% of people seeing your content. So we're going to talk about, how to engage in groups and how to share the gospel there. And in our more advanced course, we'll talk to you about, creating a great ad strategy. What we've seen by participating in digital missionary work is we've helped a regional group is if you can take your local events and activities and start posting them online in your local groups, we are able to see in the first 3 months we tested this, our people attending our activities that were not members of our church grew by 139%, 139 people. That is a significant amount. And then the whole next year we had 1,439. And before we moved states at this time, but we were projecting to hit 7,000. So local involvement in digital and social media with your church can create a lot of new people visiting. The crazy thing about it is views. So the first 3 months, we had 1,111 additional people clicking on our page to learn more. And then the next year, we had 898,000 people. That was a lot. So we were projecting, the following year, if we kept on doing what we're doing, we're going to get a lot of traffic if we could get all the membership engaged. The cool thing about this is if you look at regular baptisms happen because people move in and they have friends, but we were seeing an equal amount leading in just people coming in from external that had no connection with anybody in the membering in the whole organization. So there are people looking out there, a lot of people looking out there. And if you could get your message in front of them and build relationships with them, you're going to be able to see your local church grow a lot and significantly in a short period of time. So we like to, overall, what we suggest in getting started is, ask your missionaries for taking this training course. Have them focus on sharing the gospel with their family, letting them practice this, and then move on to teach people in their area, right? Online, you could do that. And then once they've exhausted that pool of 155 people, then they move on to finding local social groups that they can join and to participate. And once they have mastered that, they go into global groups. And step 6 is engaging other members in the missionary effort. And we share with you best practices there. And then if there's interest, you can start your own pages and groups. And that takes time and dedication. And then finally, you start training your members how to do this. And then you foster this community and you foster a lot of people sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ online. And then the prophecy of the gospel being shared all over the world will happen. This is the way it's going to happen. It's the only way to scale to do this. So this is our introductory course. Hopefully give you an overview of what you're going to be learning. There's going to be tons of it. I will share as much knowledge as I can with you that can help you improve your missionary work. And we appreciate you taking this course, and we teach it out of Idaho with love. And here are some references that you can take a look at to see where our data has come from. So our next course, our next lesson, we will teach you about personas. So sign up and learn all about the personas that you can use to share the gospel with.